For you are the only man I would ever need.
Okay.
I'll listen to you. I'll nurture you.
Hello, yes, this is your girl, Queen of Commentary, and we are back with another video. All right, this story, or this video will be about the story of Luevenia Gardner. All right, now, this is about a young lady who was taken out by her own husband. The signs were there, but you know how it is. Love is blind. But before we get into it, you know what to do. Thumbs up this video, subscribe if you have not already, cut your notifications on, and leave us a comment. And I would like to welcome all the new subscribers. Thank you for the comments, guys. I appreciate everyone who is listening to the videos. And I hope this video serves as a cautionary tale on how to choose your forever. Let's get it.
I'll fight, but I will be true. I will always do my equal share, and I will vow to never give up on you. I'll try my best to fulfill your every need. I'll walk.
Now, this is a spiritual channel, and I'm going to come from a spiritual aspect throughout my commentary. All right, if you're brand new, just wanted to let you guys know. When she said that she will try her best to supply his every need, that's when I knew that this is not a good relationship. This is based on Jezebel. This is based on devilish things. And I don't think that this young lady knew that. But honey, you can't be your everything to your spouse. You can't. Only God can do that. All right. She said some other things coming up as well, and I'll come back in there. But you know, I watched this video of these nuptials, and it just was, you know, she was so into him and he was not. He has some spirits about him as well, and we're going to talk about that as we go on. But yeah, you can't be your all to your spouse.
Hand in hand with you, but I will always give you your separate space to grow.
I do understand that each person needs to grow, but spiritually, you need to grow together. I shouldn't have to separate from my spouse to grow. And you should not feel like you have to separate yourself from your spouse for them to grow. Because you want them to grow in Christ. You want them to grow together. This is assuming that this, I'm speaking to the people who are listening to this, because this couple, this is done, but we use these stories as cautionary tales. You should be able to grow together. Is it easy to grow together? Of course not. Especially if you guys are not on the same page as far as growing in the word. You have to grow in the word. Your spouse has to be along with you, even though you may not be, or your spouse may not be completely into the Lord. Eventually you have to, and you want to grow together, not apart. All right, that's just how I feel about that part.
From this day forward, I'm here. I'm right here, so you don't let go. You're my strength, my joy, my everything. And when you feel like the world is crumbling, look at me, because I'm your rock.
Unfortunately, a man or a woman should not be your strength, your joy, your everything. Secondly, you cannot be anybody's rock. Why? Because the flesh is weak. I can't support my husband by myself. I need God. I always tell him to lean on God, because God is the general thing that'll never leave. And as I am as well, I'm like that too. I lean on God. I would never say I'm your rock and you're my rock. No, that's too much. That's too much on one person. That's humans. We change too much for you to ever feel like they are your rock. Okay, and so that's a message for anyone who is listening. Okay, make sure you know that your spouse, your husband and your wife, or your wife is not your rock. God is. Okay, and once you know that, you two can be much better together, because that's a lot of stress.
I would love you, and I just want to thank you for choosing me, because you chose me. I love you.
You get your money, and you happy. Eee, I get the money.
Didn't I just give you?
I'll take a sip.
Didn't I give you 3%
I'll
tax?
tax you 3%. Then this. Oh, you gonna take all my stuff?
I bought it.
And it looks like that she bought more than what she bargained for, unfortunately. This man, you know, he has problems. The way he was talking and how he was, his voice and all that, he don't have no respect. And she was bouncing back like they're joking. You get what I'm saying? He obviously has a mental problem. However, you know, a lot of us, we want to get into projects. We want to feel like we can change somebody. You can't change nobody. Only God can do that. It says in Jeremiah that a leopard can't change its spots. You can't change yourself. Only God can do it because he's the one who made us. You know, so no, you can meet somebody where they are, but at the end of the day, if they're not willing to do the work, you're going to waste your time and effort. And obviously, you know, her buying things like that, it was spoiling him. It was not telling him to be a provider. Ladies, we can't be the provider. I don't care how hard you work and how much money you have.
What about that one? That was your 3% when I bought it.
What you mean?
Your Pepsi. I bought you a Pepsi sitting right there. And I bought you icy.
Hey, my mans, you getting too loud. You getting too loud.
I bought you 2.
Hey.
Did he just call her my mans? Look, y'all, stop letting your men call you bro. You are a woman. You know, I come from a time where no, that new slang and all that's new. You're not gonna call me bro. That is disrespectful. My mans, you getting too loud. This is what I'm talking about. He was not having any respect. He married her for a come up. He married her to use her, and basically her personality being so open to wanting to be married and have a man and have that type of camaraderie, it opened her up. Now, it might open her up to this. I'm not saying that I'm not doing any blame. I'm talking to the people who are listening to this, because this young lady is gone, but this story can help others to help, you know, to see. Open your eyes. Sometimes we got to close other things and open up our eyes and see the real deal.
You gonna have to speak to me. You want to talk to me nice, baby.
Like this. I bought you 2.
Yeah.
Bought you a Pepsi and an ice. Wrong.
Hey.
Wrong.
Next time you get into it with somebody, you just calm it down and be like.
Now, Miss Luevenia Gardner, her life was cut short at the hands of her husband, Henry Taylor, due to a domestic dispute. The incident took place at their home in the South Deering neighborhood of Chicago. All right. So after being doused in lighter fluid and set on blaze, Gardner managed to remove her burning clothes and extinguish the flames in a shower. Okay, I'm reading this to you guys, and I'm also reading this for the first time. So she's a strong lady. You know, in that last clip that we just watched, I could see that she was a little bit scared and fearful. Sometimes, you know, I was, you know, taught that sometimes laughing is not all about being happy. You know, sometimes laughing is because you just don't know anything else to do. So you laugh to keep from what? Crying or whatever. But obviously, yeah, she was a little bit timid because I'm sure she saw his face and how he was acting. And it's like, you know, this was all on live stream. And she was like probably surprised that he was acting that way. You know, one time he said in one of the streams, he said that he has a short man's complex. He said that, a Napoleon complex. He didn't say Napoleon, but he said a short man's or little man's complex. Honey, if a man is telling you that, or someone is telling you straight up what's going on, you got to start believing it. You know, you can't wish something to be different when the person is saying, look, I got problems. I was born this way. My mama was doing this. You gotta listen. Now, do we all do that when we in love? Nope. Sometimes hindsight is what? 20/20. Despite suffering second and third degree burns to mostly 70% of her body, she ran 2 blocks to a firehouse for help. Oh, Lord. She ran 2 blocks, y'all. This part is a little hard to imagine or fathom. Her skin had melted over her fingernails, and the plastic in her hair extensions had fused to her skin, the pain, the agony, but yet she was still able to run 2 blocks to a firehouse and say she needed help. And so now I'm looking at this to say that this woman was physically stronger than what she was spiritually. We have to get into the word. We have to understand that we cannot be so desperate to have a spouse where we completely put our own safety on the back burner. You have to know that God has someone for everybody. It's up to you to honor that. Okay? But you have to do the work. You have to live right. You have to be a Proverbs 31 woman. Read it. It's right there. All you got to do is go to Proverbs 31 and read it. And that's not just for women, it's for men as well. Because domestic issues happen on both ends. Both start them. And I'm sure this relationship was both, on both sides, I'm sure. And they thought it was a joke. If you do not have boundaries, and see, the devil doesn't have boundaries, no ceiling, no sense. If you don't have boundaries, there's certain things I'm not going to say to you, and certain things you're not going to say to me. That's it. And if they don't follow it, then you have to go the next measure, the next step. I'm not saying divorce, but I'm going to tell you, if you are in danger, if they are disrespecting you and things like that, then get counseled on that. Read the word. See what God says about it. Because I'm sure God doesn't want us in pain. He doesn't want us in anguish. He doesn't want that. He wants us to live abundantly. You get what I'm saying? And so this relationship was not built on God. I looked at the footage of that wedding. The wedding didn't even have a lot of people there. I don't even think it was a church. And even if it was a church, it probably wasn't. Because they had no business getting married in the first place. They were not evenly yoked at all. And I'm going to say they weren't evenly yoked in God. They might have been they probably were evenly yoked in the devil. Okay. Now, after all of that, she actually survived for a month. Okay. She had to undergo skin grafts. And she passed away not too long after a month. So even after all of that, she held on for a month. Henry Taylor, her husband, was charged with first-degree fatal injury. He allegedly admitted to the crime, stating that he sprayed Gardner with lighter fluid and then flipped a lighter at her. What the heck happened? The devil. Only the devil would do that. There's no other reason. Okay, he turned himself in because at one time he was on the run, guys. He was on the run, and he had some spirits with him too. Looks like he didn't have any respect. If you don't understand this, understand that his mother was hooked on chemicals, and she was doing those chemicals while she was pregnant with him. So when he was born, he had that in his system as well. Is this an excuse? Heck no. However, spiritually, he doesn't have respect for women because of what his mother did. He did not forgive his mother, and forgiveness is not in the devil's camp. Forgiveness is in God's camp. We have to forgive. Now, forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be around the person, but for us to be forgiven, we must forgive others, and that is biblical. And so he literally hated women. Ain't no think. He did. Anytime you're able to do that, anytime you're able to do what he did to his own wife, which he was not cleaved to, he didn't cleave to her spiritually. He talked to her like whatever. You guys are going to see the dynamic in a little bit on how their relationship really ran. But that's what it was. She married a person who wasn't healed. He was completely open to whatever, but not God. But he was completely open to everything that was not godly. And she thought that she could change him. She thought that she could tame him.
Like,
and that's not true.
I guess people always say you just really gotta find, there's no such thing as a perfect person.
But you have to find the perfect person for you because
I ain't perfect for shit.
That's my thing. Me
That's
neither.
one thing about me, I ain't no perfect
And
nigga,
I do
boy.
not. I've never told nobody you was perfect because you're not. My thing is we go through like everybody else.
On my mama.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, I ain't gonna say we go through shit like everybody else because we really don't.
We don't. Yeah.
Like
but we're not perfect is what I'm saying.
I ain't perfect.
You see what I'm saying? We're not perfect is what I'm saying. We do go through little it will literally be months, like 6 months, 5 months.
It be like that?
That's the trick of the enemy right there. Because just because you may not have arguments all the time doesn't mean that the ones you do have aren't toxic. And so that's what it is. It's like sometimes if you are in their relationships and you have some good smooth times and things like that, and then boom, something happens. Even during the times in which you do have an argument after, having such a huge break, you have to have boundaries. And depending on what happens during that argument, is it grounds for you guys to have help? Is it grounds for you guys to separate? Because just because they don't happen often doesn't mean that it's not toxic. And that's what I'm getting from this conversation that they're having. I'm also getting that he didn't allow her to talk and have a thought, and she had to agree with him. So it's a lot of mind games, play games here. That was here, and unfortunately she didn't see the signs.
We won't even have an argument for 5 and 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
Shut the fuck up, because I'm the man.
Okay. But like I was saying, we're far from perfect,
See that little outburst right there? Yeah, he definitely had mental issues. Definitely had mental issues right there. And she just was too scared in her mind, And she didn't know what to do. She was highly embarrassed. Again, this was on FB Live. They were streaming this. And she, it's almost like he has Tourette's. He a man. Why you gotta keep saying that you a man? Why do you have to assert yourself in that way? It's because he had issues. So he had a whole bunch of stuff. And so she probably didn't realize it until it was way too late. You get what I'm saying? Because on their wedding day, she was so in love. But who knows what they went through before then? You get what I'm saying? But because you feel like it's time, 30-something years old, it's time for you to have babies and get married, she chose this man. And it cost her. So guys, please look up this story and learn from it.
But he is the pervert for me. You know what I'm saying?
The who?
You heard that pervert for me?
The pervert? What?
Pervert for me. He is the perfect person for me because he goofy, he funny, he's caring, he's very protective.
Who told her that he was the perfect person for her? He wasn't even agreeing. You get what I'm saying? You guys got to know the difference between your wants and your needs. You have to learn the difference between God's voice and the devil's voice. You have to learn the difference because obviously this man was not perfect for her. She was scared for her life, petrified. But hey, like Betty Wright said, sometimes it's better to have a piece of a man than the whole man. No, that's not true. See, they've been feeding that to us for years. No, it's better to have God in your life and to make you whole because nobody else is going to make you whole. You have to come into the relationship as two whole beings in Christ. And then you guys will be evenly yoked and good for each other and perfect for one another because God placed you together.
Your mama's a goofy. I can still be who I choose to be. You see what I'm saying?
Who was that? A goofy?
Yeah.
A straight goofy?
I haven't really had to too much change anything
really
about
no
myself.
Arguments.
No.
When last time we argued?
Before we got married.
We argued about?
Oh, yeah. It was right before we left.
What we argued about?